Hi, I'm Alan Brito from Blender 3D Architect, and welcome to this tutorial about DWG files in Blender. First, what is a DWG file and why should you care about it here in Blender? First, a DWG is the native file format for AutoCAD. And at some point, in case you are trying to use Blender for architecture, design, create 3D models, rendering interiors, develop your projects, at some point, you will have to manage, you have to deal with DWG files. Someone might hire you, a company might hire you to do an interior or exterior, develop a project. You might get a freelance work and someone will send you reference CAD drawings. And there is a high chance that those CAD drawings, they are in the native file format for AutoCAD, a DWG file. Is there a way for us to import DWG files in Blender? Unfortunately, most open source tools, they do not support importing DWG files directly, but there is a way that we can convert DWG files to DXF. And this is a big deal because Blender has a native importer to work with DXF files. If you go into Edit, Preferences, if you look here into DXF, you will see that we can enable an importer to import DXF files. If I go into File, Import DXF, we can import this type of files into Blender, and that's great. Now comes the question, how can we convert DWG files into Blender? Let me show you what I do. And here I have the tool that will give you the ability to convert DWG files into DXF. It has a name of ODA File Converter, and ODA stands for Open Design Alliance. It's not an open source tool, but it's a freeware. You can download it for free here. It has versions for Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. You don't have to pay anything, you just download the software and it will give you the ability to convert DWG files into DXF. I will show you how it works in a moment, but we need a DWG file to use as an example, and I have here a place where you can download a few samples. You can get lots of different DWG files from the Cal Poly. It's the State University from California, and you can download lots of different DWG files in this page. And by the way, all of those addresses, these resources here, I will add a link in the description of this video. You can visit all of those locations in case you want to follow the exact same steps. I will download a file from here and we can go see how to use the ODA file converter. I will be using this version here for Windows, but in case you are using Linux or macOS, you can try these versions here as well. So let's take a look on how to use the ODA file converter. And here I have for ODA file converter. It's a quite simple software. It doesn't do anything other than converting DWG files into DXF. And the process it uses to convert those files, it's quite unique. You can't convert a single file. You have to convert them into batches. Even if you have just a single file, you have to set up an input folder and an output folder. I have them here. This is my input folder for the DWG file. I have a file here that I downloaded from that page that I just showed to you. It's one of those DWG files. And I have here my output folder. I will ask ODA file converter to select just DWG files, and the output version will be a 2013 DXF, a text-based ESC2. It's the most compatible way that I find to use DXF files. Once you press the start, it will process the file and it will create for you a DXF file. Let's try that in Blender. If I go into File, Import, go here into AutoCAD DXF, and I have here my file. If I press Import, let me delete this cube, this light, and this camera. If I set my scene to the top, here's my DWG file. Of course, some of the settings, they are messed up. Basically, most text you have to review. But other than the text, which we don't really need to create a 3D model, you can select them all here on the outliner, erase them, and you have the lines. We have some more text here, but we can erase that later. You have all of the walls, doors, everything in scale that you can use to start drawing or creating your 3D models here in Blender. And this is the workflow that I use to import any DWG file into Blender. And by the way, this works with the latest versions of DWG. You don't have to use an older version. Even if you have a file that was saved in AutoCAD 2024, it will work with the older file converter. Because ever since AutoCAD 2018, Autodesk got really lazy. They didn't update the DWG file format. So what we are using today, what they are using today for AutoCAD 2024, it's the same version used for AutoCAD 2018. So this is it. I hope you like this little trick that I used to import DWG files to Blender, and I hope it helps you on your projects. And don't forget, if you think this is useful, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I see you on our next video.